Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook. Get a sign-up bonus of 200% up to $25,000 when joining today. Sign up now. Terms and conditions apply.
Vote for IFL in this year's Sports Podcast Awards. Go to www.sportspodcastgroup.com and vote for us in Best Combat Sports Podcast and the Diverse Voices Awards categories. IFL Pod, available across all major streaming platforms now.
Andrew McCART, IFL TV. I'm here in Glasgow, and I've got to say it's a Thursday night in Glasgow, in Scotland, and I've got Callum Smith. I mean, this is probably something I'd never thought it would happen, but you're in Glasgow for St Andrews, Bonds night. How are you finding it?
Yeah, good. I love Glasgow. My future wife's from Glasgow, so I won't be here quite a bit. I like the city and a bit of boxing on, so I'll come to support and say my brothers are up here as well, so it should be a good night.
Definitely. I've seen Smigger up there as well. Smigger's always up for a good laugh, and I found out that you're a keen golfer as well. That was news to me, and I said, listen, if you ever want to play golf up here, come and speak to me on Glen Eagles, Archerfield, wherever you want to play, I'll get you on.
It's nice, and I'll hold you to that as well. No, I try and play golf. It's enjoyable. It's something I enjoy to listen.
What's your handicap, Cam?
14 at the minute, yeah. So not bad. I can play. I need to play a bit more often, but hopefully this summer I can get out a bit more. But it's hard with the weather, and especially because you've got some great courses, but you don't really get the weather as well. So
too many links courses up here. But it's a good sport. It's a good sport in the summer. But like it's either a frustrating sport. If you have a bad day, one hole, and them clubs are getting snapped, and you've probably been there before.
Yeah. No, I say it's frustrating, but then one good shot keeps you coming back to it. So it's one of them. It's addictive, but it's good, and hopefully I can get my handicap down over the next couple of years.
Yes, I'm sure you will. Listen, let's get down to business in boxing. That's what we talk on this channel, not golf. Even though I do enjoy a game of golf. Let's just go back a couple of weeks in. Let's go back to the Beterbiev fight. Now, I've seen your post-fight interview with Sky, and I've seen your interviews with other channels from last week at the Tasha Jonas fight. Now, just go back to a week before the fight when you got that atypical test. I know you're probably sick and tired of talking about this, right? But a lot's been said. Your brothers have been very, very vocal, in Paul and Liam. I just want to get your thoughts on the atypical test. What was going through your mind?
When it first come about, obviously it was suspicious. Two separate tests, one Yarde and one blood, both showing high levels of whatever it was. And I say it was suspicious, but then I spoke to VAR and they were like, look, it is suspicious, but it's certainly not a failed test. So the minute it wasn't a failed test, I said the fight in jeopardy. They said no. I said, okay, well then that's it, forget about it. And my next reply was, why bother telling me then if nothing can be done about it? Just leave me be and let me get on with my training. Like I said, I went over there. It didn't affect me mentally. I wasn't thinking about it once the fight started. It just was what it was. I say it is suspicious, but it's not a failed test. There's not really a lot you can do about it. And I think our team has to do more tests on that sample, and VAR did no, they just test them again at a later date, which obviously I think he passed. So look, it is what it is. People can make their own accusations or take it wherever it was. It wasn't a failed test, so that was it for me. I say I went over there, I got in there, and the better man of the night won, and so I've got to just accept and move on.
Obviously, we know Beterbiev now. A lot's made of his 19 fights at the time, 19 knockouts, the monster, the boogeyman, he's a machine, he's the animal. All this has been said about Beterbiev, but is he the monster that we all think he is in that ring? You've shared the ring with him now.
Yeah and no. I don't believe. I wasn't in it and didn't believe he was a monster that I was in. I thought he was a good fighter. I thought tactically he was quite clever. Like when he got me in the ropes, he didn't try and take me head off. He kind of just threw a lot of arm shots, which was kind of hard to get out the way of. It was a little bit frustrating and annoying rather than actually physically hurting me. And I said up until the shot that put me down in the seventh or whatever it was, it didn't hurt me up until that point. So it wasn't like I felt like I was in there with a monster. He was good. His jab was better than what I expected. So like I say, he's definitely a good fighter, and he's in the position he is for a reason. I don't believe he's the monster people make out to be, but no, he's a very, very good fighter.
Obviously, the post-fight Sky interview, obviously, it's hard to interview a fighter when he's come out the ring after a loss like that, and the emotions are high. But 2 weeks on from the fight now, Callum, what are your emotions right now? I mean, watching that Sky interview, I was almost thinking, you're thinking about retirement. When I was listening to it, I was like, oh no, please one more. But it almost felt like that. But 2 weeks on from the fight, how are your feelings right now?
I've always in the same mindset, even before the fight, even before, say, obviously I didn't envision losing. I've always said, as long as I'm motivated, I'll fight till I feel like I'm probably at my best now. I'm in probably my physical peak, and I believe I'm improving all the time. It's not that sense as in I think I'm done because I lost. It's more I'm just motivated by becoming the best and being a world champion. And for the time being, the 4 belts are going to be tied up now. I think they're going to fight for the undisputed. I'm seeing in June time, so I'm not like I'm next in line for a shot at the winner. So it's more just I need the right fight to get me motivated and get me back in the gym. And like I say, the goal is to become a 2-weight world champion. Would I be happy retiring and not achieving it? No, I wouldn't be, but it's more, like I say, I just need to get motivated to get back in the gym. Camps have been tough. Like I say, I take away to America for part of it, and I've got 2 little kids at home, and it's not a sport that I have to do anymore. I've done it because I want to become a 2-weight world champion. So again, I boxed a couple of weeks ago, so I'm enjoying a bit of time off, and then we'll see what options there is out there and what can motivate me, what gets me back in the gym and what gets me back in the ring. But no, I'm not retiring. I think I was a bit more sulking after the fight, but it's just more, like I say, I need to know what gets me motivated moving forward.
Let's speak about that motivation then. Obviously, you said the belts are tied up. Bivol fighting 1st of June, I believe it is, out in Saudi Arabia. I'll get your thoughts on that fight and who do you think will be the winner. But to get you motivated to get in shot, I've heard Beterbiev saying that he's going to move up to cruiserweight. I've heard Bivol, when I was in Saudi Arabia then for Joshua Wallen, saying that he fancies moving up, even though he's not a big light heavyweight. He did say he wouldn't mind going up to cruiserweight or middle. So the belts might become vacant. Now, for you to get motivated to get back in line, there's talk about Anthony Yarde. Now, we've seen the Hearn versus Warren, and a lot of people have said Callum Smith versus Anthony Yarde. Does that fight motivate you?
Yeah, it's a good fight. I think outside the champions, that's probably one of the better fights to make in the division. So that's definitely a fight that does motivate me. If it gets off or gets made, then like I say, it's obviously a fight that I definitely consider. It's definitely a good fight, and ideally it could be for one of the vacant belts. But I think you can't just sit and bank on the winner become vacating the belt. That's a dream kind of thing to see that happening. But the way the future lies at the minute, one of them men's got their own 4 belts and he could sit and keep them ransom the same way, say, Canelo's doing that super middle. So regardless of the belt, that's a good fight. Regardless, I don't think that needs a world title fight. So that's definitely a fight that is an option. I say it hasn't been offered as of yet, but we'll see moving forward. But it's definitely a good fight, and he's a good fighter. He's one of the best fighters in the world outside the champions. I believe I am as well, so I think it should be a good fight stylistically to watch as well.
Obviously, the Anthony Yarde fight, we've got guys like Aziz and Boatsi and these guys, but you obviously, being that you've been at that world level and you've done that, you obviously want a guy at that level as well, and maybe Yarde is that guy at the level because he's lost a bit of Beterbiev, he's lost against good guys as well. So that fight, I like the fight. If you don't mind me saying, Callum, I like the fight. But that fight, then the sort of fights you need to get back into that slot where you can get back in the win column, and you can start saying, listen, I ain't gone anywhere, I'm still here if you want to fight.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say a win puts me right back in there, and if the belts do become vacant, then I want to be the next in line to fight for one of the vacant belts. And I'll say, obviously, I lost a Beterbiev, but outside the champions, I believe I'm the best light heavyweights out there, and I still stand by that, and I believe I'd beat anyone else in the division. So, no, I'm still in a good position. As long as I keep winning, then I believe I will become a world champion at some point, whether that's next, whether that's 2 fights, 3 fights, we'll have to wait and see. But I definitely believe I'm good enough to be a 2-weight world champion. If I didn't, then no, I'd retire right here, right now. But I know I'm good enough to do it. I know I'm good enough to tick that box of becoming a 2-weight world champion. So I say we'll have to see.
I'm glad you cleared that up, because when I watched that Sky interview, I was like, I was starting to sulk a little bit there, Callum. But yeah, talk to me about Beterbiev and Bivol then. It's the fight that is not just a fighter, Callum, as a fight fan, I'm sure you're excited about it. And you've got the technical skill set of Bivol against that monster, hard-hitting, come-forward machine that is Beterbiev. You've shared the ring with Beterbiev. I guess you've watched Bivol, so can you pick them?
It's a good fight. It's a very good fight. I think it's the fight people want to see for a reason. It's 2 genuine clash of styles. They're probably the opposite to each other. I don't know. I think Bivol's got all the skills to outbox Beterbiev, but I don't know. I don't think he hits hard enough to keep him off, and I don't think he can do it for the full 12. I think Beterbiev's relentless, and I think he'll just keep it on him. And like I say, I don't think Bivol's got enough firepower to put a dent in him. But look, I could be wrong. He could go and prove me wrong. But I think at the minute, I'm not saying it because he beat me, but I think Beter's probably just a little bit too strong over the 12 rounds for him. But again, it's a very, very interesting fight. Bivol's a very good fighter, and I said that even before he boxed Canelo. I knew he's very good at what he does, and he seems to raise his game the better the opponent. I think he plateaued out a bit and probably underperformed in the few fights leading up to the Canelo fight. But Canelo, compared to Ramirez, he seemed to up his game, and I think there's no fight to get him up for it more than the Beterbiev fight is a fellow countryman, the two best in the division. So I think you'll probably see the best of Bivol, but I just think Beterbiev's maybe that little bit too strong for him.
And again, you're not the only one that said that to me when I've asked that question. It just seemed like Beterbiev just seems to have that little bit more to it in terms of power and strength. But again, you've only lost to guys like Callum and Beterbiev in your CV, so that's not. Listen. That's people can say this at the next thing, but I was like that. He's lost to the best on the planet. Do you know what I mean? And when I watched that Sky interview, you know me, I love the Smith brothers, I love you and your brothers, and I want to get your thoughts on Swifty making his coaching debut. I'm going to get thoughts, but like I say, you've only lost two, and that's against two of the probably the pound for pound best right now. And I'm glad that you're ready to kick on and go again. But obviously, enjoy the golf. But let's talk about Swifty, because I love Swifty. He's one of my favourite persons in boxing in a hall, and I seen him in his coaching debut last week, and I was in the rotunda and I was watching him on the pads with Charlie, and the way he was telling little subtle movements and stuff like that, I was like, wow, this guy knows his boxing. I already knew boxing, but I didn't know he knew it that way as a coach. But how do you think he's going to do?
Very good. I think he's a very, very good boxer, and he's got a very good boxing brain. I think he'd be a great trainer. I think he fell out of love with boxing towards the end of his career, and the minute he retired, he didn't go anywhere near the boxing gym, and I think it'd been a waste if he never ever put his knowledge back into the sport. And now he got an opportunity to train stay, and I think the minute he's made the decision, he's realised it's probably what he needed, and I don't think he realised how much he'd enjoyed doing it. And I see him in the gym now, he's got a spring and a step every day, and he's loving it. And I say his knowledge and his boxing brain would be wasted if it wasn't in boxing, so I think he'll be a very, very good coach, and I think he'll have a very successful career.
I'm looking forward to it, like I say. But Callum, let's go and enjoy the pudding. We've had a main course, we've had a start. I think the pudding's coming.
The pudding here now, I'm starving.
The cheesecake, I think, is Callum. Thank you so much, mate, and I'll see you. Enjoy the boxing as well. Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Wall Street Memes Casino
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook. Get a sign-up bonus of 200% up to $25,000 when joining today. Sign up now. Terms and conditions apply.
Vote for IFL in this year's Sports Podcast Awards. Go to www.sportspodcastgroup.com and vote for us in Best Combat Sports Podcast and the Diverse Voices Awards categories. IFL Pod available across all major streaming platforms now.